The story I'm going to read is called Rapunzel. Once upon a time, there was a man and woman who had long and in vain wished for a child. Finally, the woman came to believe that the good Lord would fulfill her wish. Through the small rear window of these people's houses, they could see into a splendid garden that was filled with the most beautiful flowers and herbs. The garden was surrounded by a high wall, and no one dared enter, because it belonged to a sorceress who possessed great power and was feared by everyone. One day the woman was standing at this window, and she saw a bed planted with the most beautiful Rapunzel. It looked so fresh and green that she longed for some. It was her greatest desire to eat some of the Rapunzel. This desire increased with every day, and not knowing how to get any, she became miserably ill. Her husband was frightened and asked her, "What ails you, dear wife?" "Oh," she answered, "if I do not get some Rapunzel from the garden behind our house, I shall die." The man who loved her dearly thought, "Before you let your wife die, you must get her some Rapunzel, whatever the cost." So, just as it was getting dark, he climbed over the high wall into the sorceress's garden, hastily dug up a handful of Rapunzel, and took it to his wife. She immediately made a salad from it, which she devoured eagerly. It tasted so very good. By the next day, her desire for more had grown threefold. If she was going to have any peace, the man would have to climb into the garden once again. Thus he set forth once again, just as it was getting dark, but no sooner than he had climbed over the wall than, to his horror, he saw the sorceress standing there before him. "How can you dare," she asked with an angry look, "to climb into my garden like a thief, to steal my Rapunzel? You will pay for this." "Oh," he answered, "let mercy overrule justice. I came to do this out of necessity. My wife saw a Rapunzel from our window, and she longed for it very much." The sorceress' anger abated somewhat, and she said, "If things are as you say they are, I will allow you to take as much Rapunzel as you want, but under one condition. You must give me the child that your wife will bring to the world." In his fear, the man agreed to everything. When the woman gave birth, the sorceress appeared, named the little girl Rapunzel, and took her far away. Rapunzel had splendid long hair, as fine as spun gold. When she heard the sorceress' voice, she untied her braids, wound them around a window hook, let her hair fall 20 yards to the ground, and the sorceress climbed up it. A few years later, it happened that a king's son was riding through the forest. As he approached the tower, he heard a song so beautiful that he stopped to listen. It was Rapunzel, who was passing the time by singing with a sweet voice. The prince wanted to climb up to her and looked for a door in the tower, but none was to be found. He rode home, but the song had so touched his heart that he returned to the forest every day to listen to it. The sorceress came and called to her, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Then Rapunzel let down her hair, and the sorceress climbed up. "If that is the ladder into the tower, then some time I will try my luck," said the prince. And the next day, just as it was beginning to get dark, he went to the tower and called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." The hair fell down, and the prince climbed up. At first Rapunzel was terribly frightened when a man such as she had never seen before came into her tower. However, the prince began talking to her in a very friendly manner. His heart has been so touched by his singing that he could have no peace until he had seen her in person. Then Rapunzel lost her fear, and when he asked if she would take his hand as her husband, she thought, "He would rather have me than would old Frau Gothel." She said yes, and placed her hand into his. She said, "I will go with you gladly, but I do not know how to get down. Every time that you come, bring a strand of silk, from which I will weave a ladder. When it is finished, I will climb down, and you can take me away on your horse." The sorceress did not notice what was happening until one day Rapunzel said to her, "Frau Gothel, tell me why it is that you are more difficult to pull up than is the young prince, who will be arriving any moment now." "You godless child," cried the sorceress, "what am I hearing from you? I thought I had removed you from the whole wood, but you have deceived me none the less." In her anger, she grabbed Rapunzel's hair, wrapped it a few times around her left hand, grasped a pair of scissors with her right, and snipped her hair, cut it completely off. and she was so unmerciful that she took Rapunzel into a wilderness where she suffered greatly. On the evening of the same day she sent Rapunzel away, the fairy tied the cut-off hair on the hook of the tower, and when the prince called out, "Let down your hair, Rapunzel," she let it down. The prince climbed up, but instead of his beloved Rapunzel, he found the sorceress. "Ah," she cried scornfully, "you have come for your mistress, darling. But that beautiful bird is no longer sitting in her nest." The prince